I wanted to make a little video talk about like New Year's resolutions, and I didn't know exactly what video or like what game to play while I was talking about it. I gave it a little thought, and I thought it would be fun if, since the topic is New Year's, let's make some fireworks. So I'm in here in a new world, and I'm gonna make some fireworks, and we're gonna talk about New Year's resolutions. So the issue that I have with New Year's resolutions is I feel like people try way too hard to make a very drastic change in their lifestyle very suddenly, usually with little planning, and they never give themselves enough grace to make mistakes. The process of like adopting a new habit as like dramatic and time consuming as dieting, working out more, or like picking up an old hobby, maybe like spending more time with family or friends. Like on the surface, it doesn't sound like something that would be difficult because it's like, it's things that are good for you. But I think people fail to realize how like difficult that can really be. Just like the time investment and like the mental effort that it requires to, sit down and do that. A good example is, like working out. Let's say that, December 31st rolls around and you think to yourself, this is going to be the year where I really get in shape, and you're super committed and you take the time to sit down beforehand, or maybe you do it the morning after or like a day or two after. You sit down, you put in the time to do research on like a good workout routine for what you're trying to work on. You get yourself all of the materials, the equipment, you watch videos on YouTube, you get yourself a yoga mat, you get yourself weights, whatever it is you need, you put in the time, you put in the money, and you get yourself what you need to make it happen. And then, all of a sudden, you're doing this for days on end, and you're getting tired because, this is all of a sudden a new toll that you're taking on your body. You're working out, let's say 3, 4, 5 times a week, and, February rolls around, you're exhausted, and you miss a day. You're so tired, both physically and mentally, that you miss a day, finally. And then you think to yourself, well, now I'm a failure, I've missed this one day. I've ruined the New Year's resolution streak. And that's it. I've ruined it. It's done. It's soiled. It's ruined. I'm not going to work out anymore. And then now you've wasted all of this time in researching it. You've wasted all of the money getting yourself the resources you need, and now you're punching down on yourself for making a mistake. The issue is that the experience that I've just described to you is really common among people who like to do New Year's resolutions. They want to go full throttle all the time, every time, but that's not really a healthy way to go about improving yourself. All changes need to come gradually, in moderation. You need to give yourself time to learn, to, like build muscle, build core strength, build whatever it is you're working on over time, slowly. It's a very gradual, time-consuming, tiring process. Learning anything, doing anything that's new, and people are too used to giving up immediately. It's like a stereotype. There's like this consensus that that's just what happens with resolutions, is people, go all in, make some serious progress for a few weeks, miss one day, and that's it. And that's not how it should be. If you are considering doing a resolution this year, or you already are since the year has started, if you're doing a resolution, I would really encourage you to be patient with yourself and take your time and give yourself the benefit and the grace of making mistakes and skipping days. You can only do so much all at once on top of your pre-existing life that you're bringing with you into the new year. And the time's gonna come where even if you're doing everything that you should in moderation and you're giving yourself breaks, you're gonna hit a point where it's going to be tiring trying to maintain whatever this new skill is, because you have the rest of your life to also work on. You know, you go to school, you have a job, maybe you're maintaining a relationship with somebody, maybe you have people in your life who you need to care after. You know, and then all of a sudden, now you have this new thing that you want to do, and it can be too much. You know, people have a tendency to put too much on their plate and overload themselves. So it's important to give yourself that grace, give yourself that benefit of the doubt, give yourself that ability to take a break if you need it, and pick up where you left off. You can always pick up where you left off. There's no such thing as, you know, working on something for hours and hours and hours. You put it down for a few days, a week or two, and it's all gone. That's not the case. You know, if you're working out for a few weeks, if you're working out for a month, and you stop for a week because you're tired, because, you know, you have too much work to do, you could always pick it up next week or whenever you're ready again. You won't lose everything that you've done. And, you know, that's something that I fall victim to myself. I'll get into that mindset that so many other people do. Like, for example, I have that issue a lot with when I try to draw. I'll say to myself, I'm gonna try to draw once a week. And it seems reasonable to say that, because there's 7 days in a week. Like, of course you can sit down for 30 minutes once a week and, you know, doodle something on a piece of paper. But the truth is, that's just not the case. Some weeks are harder than others. Some weeks you're not mentally there. And you have to be patient with yourself for missing that, because it's not the end of the world. You can still pick back up and draw again, you know? I think I'm repeating myself a bit, but I hope I'm communicating what I'm trying to. On the topic of self-improvement, there's also a lot of people who like to compare, and that's another self-defeating habit that people can get into that can affect their resolution, or just, you know, any hobby, it'll make it hard. People like to compare. It's automatic for a lot of people. You could be on Instagram, you could follow a bunch of different artists if you're trying to draw for fun, and you could say to yourself, I'm not as good as these other people. Why do I even keep trying? I'll never be as good as them. Or maybe you're trying to work out more and you follow, you know, these YouTubers and they're like bodybuilders, and they're, you know, you think to yourself, you know, I'll never be that strong. The amount of time that I would need to spend and the commitment to it is just too much. I'll never get to that point. And then you stop working out, you stop drawing, you know, maybe you make music and, you know, you're just learning how to do it for the first time, and you follow other musicians or you listen to a lot of different artists, and you think to yourself, I'll never be as good as them. I'll never make music as complicated or any of that. And you just stop, you just give up. But by going out and comparing yourself to others, you're robbing yourself of the opportunity to grow, because you're comparing yourself to somebody who's likely been in the game for years and years and years and years. It's important not to compare yourself to those people, because you're comparing yourself to somebody who's more than likely been doing what they're doing for years, maybe even decades. It's not a fair comparison to try to line yourself up with somebody who's been doing something for that long. Like, do you really think they could have gotten that far if they spent all of their time punching themselves down, saying that other people are better than them? I don't think so. So, the point I'm trying to get across is, no matter what you do, you should really be doing it for yourself. You shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people who have more experience than you, because it's not a fair comparison. If you set yourself some sort of goal to improve upon yourself, make sure you give yourself permission to take a break. Don't push yourself to try the hardest possible each day, every day, because you're going to burn yourself out. You're going to lose the spark that made you want to do it in the first place, and that's not good. But, yeah.